Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you're new. We have more PlayStation news, rumors, and leaks to go over and cover today. So we're going to get right into the first topic here, which talks about Skull and Bones and how you apparently can no longer purchase this game through the PlayStation Store. And on top of that, Sony has began issuing refunds to anybody who had this game pre-ordered. So this comes not too long after Ubisoft announced that Skull and Bones would be delayed once again. I don't know how many times this game has been delayed by this point, but it's been a lot. It's been more than a game should have to be delayed. Some people at this point are questioning, rightly so, why it hasn't been canceled. You know, what's going wrong with this game? Does Ubisoft actually have something special on their hands and that's why they haven't canceled it, but they've decided to cancel many other projects previously? It's hard to say exactly, but you know, this is never a good sign when a game is just straight up removed from the PlayStation Store. And, you know, when Sony's giving out refunds, it's not good. That's what I'm trying to say here. But I guess it makes sense. You know, this was kind of a last-minute delay. And I would say it was an unexpected delay, but considering it's Skull and Bones, I really don't know that I can say that. So I'm curious, you know, is there anybody listening to this video who was looking forward to Skull and Bones, who maybe had the game pre-ordered through the PlayStation Store? Let me know. Moving on from that, we have a delay for an upcoming PSVR 2 game. This is the Dark Pictures Switchback. It's been delayed to March 16th. This was recently announced on the official Supermassive Games Twitter account. They say a message from the Switchback VR team. They put out a little write-up here, and they basically start off by talking about how ambitious this game is, saying it's the most ambitious VR project to date that they've worked on. They also make it clear that they were aiming to release this game at the launch of PSVR 2, but that's just simply not going to happen now. They want to make sure it can be 100% finished, polished, and they're prioritizing that, which I think is smart. And then they announced the new date of March 16th, 2023, and they also say that they're going to be sharing more information soon. So, you know, considering PSVR 2 is about a month away at this point, I don't know how many people were looking forward to this game, but I have to imagine some of you who were planning to pick up PSVR 2 were looking to get this with it. So you'll have to wait a little bit longer. It's not like a massive delay, just a couple weeks, and I don't think that's too bad, but figured I would just update you guys and let you know about that. Next up, we are talking about Monster Hunter Rise and how apparently performance of this game on the PS5 is pretty much perfect. It says here from Push Square that Capcom has done an absolutely superb job of porting Monster Hunter Rise to PS5. This is what Digital Foundry is saying. Their latest analysis reveals that the current-gen title provides a near-perfect upgrade on the original Switch version, offering 60 FPS across the board, while also boasting PC-like graphics options that you can tweak through the in-game menu. You can go all in on 60 FPS with the frame rate prioritized, opt in for a nice balance with the default mode, or crank the visuals as far as they'll go and prioritize the graphics mode. And beyond these presets, you can adjust individual values like texture quality, shadow quality, and even vegetation sway. Regardless of which settings you end up selecting, Rise always targets 60 FPS and almost always maintains it, even when you've pushed the graphics up to their limits, which is great to see. Indeed, Digital Foundry seemed genuinely impressed here, especially when it comes to the graphics-focused preset. According to their findings, the game actually boosts the resolution to 125% scale, providing a 4800 by 2700 image at 4K resolution, or to phrase it in another way, it's rendering at 4.8K, adding a form of brute force anti-aliasing by scaling a higher resolution image down to 4K. This is what Digital Foundry explains. So I wanted to be sure to highlight this for you guys and talk about it here, because every time we talk about a game being ported to the PS5 from another platform, there's obviously always the worry, you know, will it be properly optimized? And more often than not, games are. There are those occasions where they're not, and it's unfortunate, and they have to, you know, patch it. But in this case, what we're seeing from Capcom, they're actually going above and beyond here, where not only did they optimize this game really well for the PS5 and the current gen consoles in general, but they've done so to a degree in which people are very much impressed. You know, finding out that the game actually exceeds a native 4K resolution, maintains that constant 60 FPS across the board, and offers so many different options. You love to see this, right? This is stuff that I feel like people want to see more of and want to kind of encourage development teams and publishers that are bringing ports to really make sure they do it right and, you know, go above and beyond, and people are going to be impressed. I wouldn't be surprised if after hearing this, some people who are maybe on the fence are maybe now going to take the plunge and pick the game up. So yeah, people are also giving a lot of praise to the RE engine as well, which is clearly proving to be a force on the current gen consoles. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts on that. Next up, we're talking about Forspoken, specifically the reviews. They are out now just a day before the game releases. And this is coming from Push Square, where they say, round up Forspoken's divided reviews make for some rough reading. They continue by saying the Forspoken reviews are starting to come in, and as many predicted, it's not looking great for the open world action RPG. Initial coverage is divided, to say the least, with the title currently sitting at a 68 on Metacritic. Not outright bad, but certainly not the hit that Square Enix would have wanted. Generally speaking, reviewers have been critical of the game's story, writing, and general tone. However, it sounds like the gameplay is actually decent once you dig into it, providing flashy combat and fun traversal. I've also heard some mixed things when it comes to the world. You know, some people are saying that they enjoy the world, like the open world. Others are saying that it feels kind of empty and, you know, not that interesting. So, you know, make of that what you will. But I have to say that I am not at all surprised by these review scores. And you guys know how this works, right? When it comes to reviews and Metacritic scores and all that, you have to just kind of go with your gut when it comes to this stuff, right? If you have seen Forspoken and you've watched gameplay, you've been watching the trailers, and you like everything you see of it, and you're excited for it, sure, maybe it's a little bit disappointing to see it's not necessarily getting rave reviews, but, you know, I've seen plenty of people say that they're still going to pick it up, they're still going to buy it, they're still excited for it, and it's worth noting there still are positive reviews of the game. But if you're somebody who, you know, was maybe on the fence with this game, or leaning towards, you know, maybe this is a game I'm going to pass on, and kind of seeing this review score, or the Metacritic score I should say, to 68, kind of makes you be like, yeah, you know, I'm going to pass on it. There's nothing wrong with that either. But at the end of the day, it's all subjective, right? Everybody has different tastes, everybody has different opinions and different views and different feelings on things, and I have no doubt that there are going to be many people who are going to enjoy Forspoken, and many people who are just going to say, yeah, it's not for me, I'm going to pass on it. There's nothing wrong with that, but I just wanted to let you guys know this is how it's reviewing, this is where it's sitting. But we also have another interesting report regarding Forspoken. Apparently, Forspoken is unrecognizable from its original pitch. This is reading from PlayStation Lifestyle, where they say Forspoken is reportedly an extreme case of a game being completely unrecognizable to its original pitch, according to insider Alex Donaldson. While it's not uncommon for games to change from its original vision, he says that Forspoken struggled substantially to find its identity throughout game development, due in part to the departure of Hajime Tabata from Luminous Productions in 2018. Donaldson, the owner of RPG Site, notes that from various sources, it appears Forspoken went through multiple changes in development. He says in a tweet, "People have said to me the original pitch/plan is unrecognizable in the product as it is now. This happens to many games mid-development, but Forspoken basically appears to be a particularly extreme case where it really went through the ringer in terms of changing and morphing." He continues in a follow-up that some of the criticisms he has seen of Forspoken thus far seem like they are symptoms of these constant changes in direction. So I thought that this was interesting and worth covering because, you know, when I think of Forspoken, I remember when this game was first announced as like Project Athia, and there was a lot of mystery surrounding it, and we kind of maybe got somewhat of an idea of what to expect. Like, we knew it was going to be a new AAA RPG in a fantasy world, and then we didn't hear anything for quite some time, and then they just kind of came out and they showed, you know, the game as it was, and you know, immediately from that point, it became divisive, which is interesting. So I guess what I'm trying to say here is I really wonder what like the original vision and the original pitch for Forspoken, what it actually was compared to what it ended up being now. I would love to hear that and, see that. But we are moving on to the next topic, which talks about The Last of Us Part 1 and how sales are spiking thanks to the HBO TV show. Reading from PlayStation Lifestyle, The Last of Us Part 1 sales have started to see a significant spike, thanks in no small part to the successful debut of the HBO TV show. As reported by GamesIndustry.biz, the game re-entered the sales charts with a 238% week-on-week sales increase in the UK alone. Many questioned Sony's decision to release The Last of Us Part 1 and termed it a cash grab, but it's evident that the company knows a lot more than the average Joe. The game, which had a pretty slow start commercially, was perfectly timed. Such is the influence of the HBO TV series that The Last of Us Remastered for PS4 also re-entered the sales charts with a 322% sales spike in the UK. That's according, once again, to GamesIndustry.biz. So I wanted to just highlight this, let you guys know that Sony's plan is working here. This is partly one of the reasons why Sony decided to release The Last of Us Part 1. They made it clear that, they want new people who haven't experienced The Last of Us before to do so. And it's interesting to see that the PS4 remastered version is also doing really well. But this is the point. This is what Sony's looking to achieve by making all of these TV shows, making all of these movies, and just trying to push their established PlayStation IP in different directions, whether that's, TV, movies, PC, mobile, whatever it might be. This is why. It's going to help their gaming division. It's going to help sell more games. So I'd say that this is good news overall. Moving to the final topic, though, we have an update on Insomniac's Spider-Man 2. Reading from WCCF Tech, it says Marvel's Spider-Man 2, the new entry in the series by Insomniac Games launching later this year on PS5 worldwide, is going to be a pretty big game, according to Peter Parker's voice actor Yuri Lowenthal. Speaking with Comic Book Movie, the voice actor who will reprise his role in the new entry in the series revealed that he has some work left to do as the game is massive. Despite this, Insomniac is confident about its release date, so it sounds like Marvel's Spider-Man 2 will not be delayed. Quote, I've still got a little bit to do. It's a massive game, so I'm still doing a little bit of work. I know they're confident about their release date, and Insomniac has always been good about that. Obviously, I can't really talk about the game much, but I will tell you that it's astonishing. So these are some exciting words to be hearing from, I think, the voice actor who plays Peter Parker. Obviously, it's not revealing anything that we maybe wouldn't already assume or infer. We know the game's going to be massive, but it's exciting to kind of hear that from somebody who knows about the game, who has a much better idea of what this game's going to be like compared to us. And then, finishing up by saying it's astonishing. Very exciting stuff here, right? He's careful not to give too much away. Doesn't want to get in trouble, obviously. He's letting us know he's still doing a little bit of work because of how big the game is. And, at this point, I think it's safe to say that those who were looking forward to Spider-Man 2 are just absolutely desperate to get a new trailer. And I think that's totally fair because the last time we saw this game was when it was officially announced in 2021, and we haven't seen anything else since then. I think that this is a good thing ultimately, though, because I think that when we do see it this year, we're going to see a lot at one time, and I think it is going to be pretty awesome. I think it's going to really live up to expectations. That's my hope anyway. So there you go. Wanted to give you that update on Spider-Man 2. That's going to do it for the video, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. I hope you found it informative. If you did, be sure to leave it a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, hit the bell notification icon, and feel free to share the video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.